Jesse Eckel, crypto YouTuber Jesse Eckel, is promoting Sphere Finance again, and we knew it. We saw this coming. This video, just published a few hours ago, very much promotes the Sphere Finance project one more time. And of course he has his disclaimers over here that you shouldn't copy his trades, etc. But it's a hyper bullish video on Sphere. Now here's the reason why you want to join at least the free Telegram group of this channel of Bitcoin Strategy. Look at this message sent on the 4th of June. So that's pretty much 1 week ago. Another nugget from Premium for the public chat. It appears that influencer Jesse Eckel is doubling down on Sphere and just bought $9,000 worth of the token. I would not be surprised to see him make a video on it again soon. So do I have a crystal ball over here? Can I see magically the future? I wish I could. I have to use more humble tools like this, and the tool we are using is blockchain analytics. So let's get into this chat again. There is a screenshot, and this screenshot shows purchases of Sphere, and it also shows that these purchases are related to a Jesse Eckel wallet. Now I mentioned here that this is part of Premium, and that's because we track various influencers on our influencer alert channel. So we did some blockchain analytics, we reverse engineered their wallets. So when an influencer says, for example, I bought $10,000 worth of the token on the 1st of May, then you can look at the blockchain, right? And you can find out what wallets actually purchased on the 1st of May for 10,000. You figure this out. You can do this with Dune Analytics, for example, and then you can check, do the holdings align with other holdings that this influencer was talking about in the past? And so it's a bit of a tedious work, but once you've done this, you can put these into tracking bots. So in other words, you get an automatic alert message whenever that specific wallet does something. They buy something, they sell something. And this is super useful for influencers. This is pure alpha, because this message over here in the public channel even, had you bought based on this message, you would now be up roughly 50%. So 44% of those 50% are due to the video, right? So this is where Jesse Eckel published his video. So knowing this beforehand, knowing beforehand when an influencer is shilling a project is incredibly valuable. And this is a basic fundamental concept in crypto always. The way to get outperformance is always to be better informed than the average. And you don't get better informed than the average by just watching the same YouTube video that everybody else is watching. You get informed better than the average by doing more work than others, by analyzing the blockchain more, by having better connections to people, by having an information edge. So the information edge is in the end what can be monetized. And so people are always asking, why should I pay $75 per month for a subscription? How does this make any sense? The reason is there is value in these kinds of information. It's all about knowing more than the rest and having a community that works hard on getting this edge constantly. And so here in Premium, we've got all kinds of channels. We've got the ones where we simply just chat around alpha opportunities or the macro environment. But we also have the influencer alerts channel. So look at this. Jesse Eckel was just moving $3,500. But it's not just Jesse Eckel that we're following here, right? This is not a video just targeted at him, but right, we also have your friend Andy, for example, where he cashes out some of that Flux protocol. But I do want to talk a little bit about this Sphere rally. I'm not going to talk about the fundamentals of the project too much, but I want to make you aware of some mechanics here. One mechanic, for example, is that the liquidity of Sphere Finance is very narrow. In other words, you don't need much money in order to create these 44% gains. When you go to 1inch, a decentralized exchange aggregator, and you can only buy Sphere via decentralized applications. When you go here and you swap 45,000 Tether in this case, you will have slippage of 22%. Now what does that mean, 22% slippage? When you buy a token and you get slippage, it means you get worse of a price than what the current market price is. And the reason for that is when you buy a lot of the token, there isn't that much token left, right? So the price appreciates while you are buying. The liquidity pool gets more and more empty, and because you buy so much of the liquidity pool, the price increases. Now when you get an average price that's 22% worse than the current market price, you're actually moving the price up by 44%. So by double of that amount. Because you start off with the market price, right? The first token you buy is pretty much at market price. And then the token you buy with your 45th thousand US dollar, that's the one you pay 44% more for. So the new market price is 44% higher. Your average price across that line is 22% worse. So you've got a slippage of 22%, but you push up the price by 44%. So what has happened here is that with publishing of this video, roughly 45,000 US dollars went into Sphere. Probably a bit less because now we already went up, right? So probably it's now around 35 or so, 35,000. That's the kind of capital that can be moved with a video like this during a bear market. Imagine what kind of impact these signals have once we are in a bull market and everybody wants to buy these altcoins again. I want to talk about one specific aspect in the video if you're considering to buy Sphere now. I personally don't, but I'm not your financial advisor. But I want to talk about one argument that might not be valid. The others might, but this specific argument I disagree with, and I will show you why. So let's watch the part of that video.
First up, as we've noted, Sphere holds $13 million in assets in its treasury, and it's nonsensical for it to trade under $13 million. That'd essentially be like if I had a briefcase and I asked you to tell me how much you thought this briefcase was worth. And I told you that at a bare minimum, for sure, there was at least $13 million in this briefcase, but there could be 50 million, there could be 100 million, there could be $1 billion in this briefcase. But at a bare minimum, for sure, there was $13 million. And you told me that you thought that that briefcase was only worth $7 million. Obviously, that's a nonsense response. You can't say, hey, that briefcase is only worth $7 million when it holds at a bare minimum $13 million in it. At the very least, you would say the briefcase is worth $13 million. But again, it could be worth a lot more in the future as time goes on. And that's essentially what the market is saying about Sphere right now. It's saying, hey, this project that has $13 million in assets in their treasury is only worth $7 million. Obviously, that doesn't make sense. We have projects that don't have any assets. They don't have any revenue. The market values it like $1 billion. So the fact that you have a project that has $13 million in its treasury and you're valuing it only $7 million, not accounting for the protocol revenue, not accounting for future growth, that's absolutely insane. And that's the first reason why I think currently the protocol is undervalued and why it's set to at least double.
Okay, so I want to talk about this argument. The argument being that the market cap is currently lower than the value of the treasury of Sphere Finance. We actually see this effect very often in crypto. Look, for example, at Olympus DAO. The fully diluted market cap here is 15 million. The size of the treasury is 185 million. Now, where does this disconnect come from? The disconnect comes from the lock to that briefcase. The briefcase might have all of that money. How much is the briefcase worth? Well, when you can't open the briefcase, it's worth nothing to you. And this is what happened to Olympus DAO. It's what happened to Time Wonderland. And there are always these official claims that this money will go to the community at some point. But will they really? We even see this in the traditional stock market. We very often see companies that currently trade below their book value. So the value of all the assets that the company is holding. And that's usually due to a bad outlook for the project. This is not a video to bash on Sphere or to bash on Jesse Eckel. I actually do enjoy his videos quite a bit, and you shouldn't be buying just because somebody is very excited about it on YouTube. And that's even what he's writing here in a pinned comment as well. You don't just want to copy trade, you want to find out what will be the next video. You want to find out where is the trend headed. Or you want to create the trend as Jesse Eckel does. You don't want to be part of the sheep that in the end gets slaughtered, because that's how crypto in the end works, right? There are winners, there are losers. It's player versus player, especially in the current market. Always ask yourself, where is your edge? Where are you better informed than the rest? Because only that will long-term make you money. And for Jesse Eckel, that might be his very close connection to the Sphere team. It might be simply just his following that buys a lot of the things that he's excited about. It might be simply the time of research that he puts into all these different altcoins. I see my edge in analytics, blockchain analytics, backtesting of indicators, in all kinds of data, and that has so far served me pretty well. Make sure you also have a strength that you can monetize some information edge. Don't just follow people that you see anywhere in social media.